Because Ray can't remember a fucking thing.
If it's on the teleprompter, I'm going to read it.
Yeah. I brought
Oh, it's Friday, June 3rd, 2016, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Ray.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Kyle.
We're three coworkers who enjoy pro wrestling, and this podcast gives us a space to shoot on all the aspects of our favorite pastime without the confused looks we get from the rest of the office.
This podcast is about giving you, the listener, the beloved listener, consistent bite-sized commentary on the world of wrestling, focused primarily on WWE's main roster and NXT, though we talk about other things sometimes, like the indies and the international scene.
Every week, we'll either recap the previous week's Raw, NXT, pay-per-view, takeover, etc., or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week, we're going to recap this week's Monday Night Raw, as well as just a lot of the happenings that have been going on.
But first, the return of the man.
Oh my God! So Extreme Rules.
The man versus the guy.
Oh, it was so great.
That man took that guy and pedigreed his ass.
Yeah. So to kind of give context of all the shit we're talking about right now, in Extreme Rules, at the end of the pay-per-view, as Reigns supreme. Oh,
gross.
God.
I
hated myself just saying it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
At least he didn't make a Roman Empire reference.
Oh, fuck.
Let's
So as Roman Reigns
Believe
basically won that match, we got a special surprise. It was happy. It was great.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And
I got to have one of those, like, I'm making ape noises moments, and my wife's like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was watching the pay-per-view with like 16 other people, and the room just erupted. So whoever lived next door was probably like, what the heck? Game of Thrones isn't on yet, guys. Like,
Yeah, and Casey's like, I thought he was injured. It's like, he's healing.
Hurley's back!
Yeah.
Hurley's back, and he's huge!
He's
Yes.
huge.
Motherfucking
He is the
huge!
Yeah.
Drifter on
kinda
the main
weird to
roster with a personality that I actually like.
I mean, if you can't work that leg, you work that upper body, and holy shit.
Yeah, it's paid off. He's also single now.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Rollins.
Ladies.
What's up? I'm on Twitter. My DMs are open.
Hey, this is Daniel Bryan crying girl here, so.
Yeah,
Hey, Daniel Bryan's retired, okay?
That's right. You need to cry for someone else now.
I do.
So
It's got weird real fast.
So we got the return of Rollins, which is fantastic, and we're all happy about it. And then, like a week later, we find out.
Shut up, Kyle. Shut up. All right. A week later, we find out that the brands are splitting.
Thank you.
We find out that Ray was right.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where have you been? Ray was
right.
I know,
like, props to Ray all the way.
Yeah,
They
He's
haven't
been saying
necessarily.
it's best for business. So.
It is best for business. So they haven't necessarily said a lot of details other than that there are going to be specific rosters to each brand, and that SmackDown is now going to be live on Tuesdays, which means there's a shit ton of wrestling to watch.
Too much wrestling.
They haven't mentioned if Raw's going to go down to 2 hours. They haven't mentioned how the draft is going to work. But if you look at the timing of everything, like you've got NXT TakeOver before the brand split, and then you've got the brand split happening before SummerSlam. It's going to be a very interesting summer as far as wrestling is concerned.
Gonna be nuts.
Yeah. It's. I feel like it's going to be either fantastic or terrible.
Well, yeah.
But leaning
absolutely.
towards, like,
They've had a pretty good
fantastically
streak of
interesting.
fantastic,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I have faith in the new era.
So do I. It's kind of it is a little bit it's a little scary, especially when you have a lot of big changes coming on, and especially with the tweet. The tweet.
Oh, so Triple H is like trolling everybody on the internet.
That tweet.
That tweet, though.
What is it? It was like NXT TakeOver the end, June 8th. What happens next? Or where do we go from here? Or whatever he said. And I'm just like, what?
And then he cancels Brooklyn.
Yeah. So there was some stipulation that maybe, not stipulation, but some thought that maybe Brooklyn wasn't actually canceled, but Ticketmaster will sometimes take tickets off of the website or delist events for later when pre-sales are going to open.
Yeah, right.
So I think this is part of, like, people are really, really excited and they're immediately jumping to conclusions with everything because wrestling fans are rabid and nuts. Mind you, if they cancel Brooklyn, I went to the only Brooklyn. What's up?
Oh, that's clearly in their goals.
Yeah, make me feel special.
But the question is, what does this mean? Why would they do this? Like,
Well, I mean, I think the roster, it's weird. The roster is both growing and, like, shrinking.
Yeah.
You know, like, we've heard about 5 or 6 recent cuts.
Yeah,
right?
a lot.
Some of them super regrettable.
Sandow!
Other ones, yeah, same
And
thing.
then
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes! Well, Cody Rhodes
Well,
asked for his release.
Yeah, but I mean, he was driven to that too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, while some people are getting fantastic opportunities,
He was stuck in mid-card hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
And his dad died. Like,
yeah.
there's just so much
So
going
there's
on,
all
right?
there's all that stuff. On top of all that, then there's we don't know necessarily what's gonna happen to NXT. Like, what if they sort of take over SmackDown?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the ultimate takeover, right?
Yeah.
Like, it
but
could
then,
be crazy.
But then if that happens, which, don't get me wrong, fucking awesome, what happens to the show?
yeah.
NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
So-
really interesting.
So yeah, it's really weird. And then the second title belt thing,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
Bring back the heavyweight title, man.
Huh?
Bring back the heavyweight titles. They
I don't
combine
want-
the two.
I don't want I don't want two mains again because I feel like they did.
I mean, they weren't really both equally mains.
Right.
Like, one of them was more important
the
than
one
other.
with the
the
acronym
NWA
is the
title
winner.
was taken
The John
as a
Cena
second.
spinner belt was more important than the heavyweight belt.
Yeah.
Right. However, I think they did a really good job finally like combining the titles and making that title important.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring in a second main, I think it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think have that title be shared across both. The champion defends on both,
Mm-hmm.
and just that way you don't need more titles to fix mid card. You just need to like make the titles that exist more important.
You need to give everyone a good storyline, and you need to give them enough screen time for the audience to actually attach themselves to that character.
Correct.
Otherwise, there's no chance in hell.
I would kind of
Not intended to
like
be.
there to be different. That works. That's fine. I'd like them to have different titles, right? Like Raw
yeah.
has whatever the F it has, and SmackDown maybe has a women's tag division and a cruiserweight division. And something like that to kind of mix it up instead of just having a title parody where you just have the same titles across
Right. I
brands.
just want that for World. For everything else, they should live on separate brands.
Yeah.
Like you said, having the tag division live on a brand, having the women's division live on a brand. I am concerned about the idea of a cruiserweight title, just in the fact that yes, they are talking about a cruiserweight tourney, and that's great, and I'm all about it. But cruiserweight division, the only reason it worked in WCW is Ted Turner had a lot of money, and that cruiserweight division was almost as big as their main roster. So like cruiserweights get hurt a lot, and if they all get hurt at the same time, that division's essentially dead.
Yeah, but like most, like 75% of NXT is like cruiserweights.
And
And you could argue with like bringing in these guys into the tournament anyway, get some exposure. WWE can see which ones they actually want to keep. They could grow their roster dramatically. Like if you look at the match that happened recently between Ospreay and Ricochet, which was an incredible match, right? And Ospreay's hurt.
Yeah.
So Ray does have a point that the cruiserweight guys do get hurt. They wrestle hurt more often. But there are so many more cruiserweights out there than there are the John Cena type guys.
Yeah, and you see such fantastic matches, and also it lets you have people like Kalisto not have to do David vs. Goliath for every single storyline.
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a
So-
good point. I think there's a way that you could do it. There's positives and negatives of both.
Yep.
Let's talk about Raw.
Okay, let's do it.
Raw.
Do
All
it.
right. So AJ rejoins the club after
club.
saying, "We're gonna go our separate ways.
Yeah,
I
we're not
don't
doing
need
this."
you. I'm a good
yeah.
guy. Whatever." Blah, blah, blah. And then he just comes out and beats the shit out of Cena. Like, yay. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, John Cena's
so
back.
Cena's back. Oh my God. So in the most Cena thing ever, he comes back on Memorial Day.
Yep.
In a red, white, and blue themed T-shirt.
Yeah, and I must say, I personally, like, as the build-up was happening, and once Rusev collected the U.S. title, like, I'm texting these guys, like, oh, it's happening. Rusev's seen a few, too. And we're all like, that would also be cool.
That would be cool.
And
Yeah.
totally makes sense. And it's kind of surprising in a way that they didn't reheat that for us.
No,
Yeah.
they immediately went to something new and interesting.
Yeah. Memorial Day for me is kind of like John Cena Groundhog's Day. It's like you check John Cena to see if he's still patriotic.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, 4 more years of babyface. Like,
Yeah.
God, if Cena ever did a nationalistic heel turn, my God.
Oh, man,
Like,
like,
if he ever did a Sergeant Slaughter thing, holy
If
crap.
anything, like Memorial Day was the day to do it, and he was
Yeah.
kind of teasing it a little bit
A
too. So he
little
comes
bit.
out and he starts talking about like America and all the people that gave their lives for the country. Really, really great stuff, right? And then he starts talking about how people in the back are just wondering if he's gonna roll over and just move on out with the new era. I'm like, what are you, a girl in high school? No one is talking about you. like you weren't even a question. You were mentioned like coming in and out of commercials, like, hey, you're back. But you were not involved with any storyline at all. Why do you think that people are feuding with you? You are not the underdog. You are Superman.
Yeah, it was just a little weird because, like, you know, when guys like get hurt or leave, like remember when Bret Hart got hurt and Steve Austin is calling him out for weeks, like. And then when Bret Hart comes back, it's like, there's a reason to like, you know, oh, Steve Austin's been talking all this crap. It's like, that didn't happen with
There has been literally no mention of Cena on the roster outside of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which was kind of its own thing, and that makes sense.
Literally the only one he could yell at is maybe JBL and Michael Cole.
He could feud with Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens could feud with everybody.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd be fine with it. Also, his shirt looks like a can of PBR.
Well, he's not the shirt he came out in because the cease and desist was in effect, and that shirt is gone. That shirt does not exist. It's gone now. They modded it very slightly. It's now a circle label.
Yeah,
it's now black.
It's
t-shirt.
silly. It's like, really, guys. Anyway, so AJ comes out. They do the whole handshake thing. He goes heel, runs out of the ring.
What kind of handshake was it? Was it a friendship, respect, handshake, hug?
No.
No?
The look in Kyle's eyes was like, I'm so disappointed. So AJ runs into the ring, hits him, goes out, runs back into the ring, hits him, goes out, which was really refreshing after watching it earlier with Rollins and Roman Reigns doing the same thing, but it's just not as exciting. Like, there was a lot of dead airtime on Raw with people just running in and out of the ring.
Not talking, not doing anything.
That felt like phoned in.
Yeah,
like
it did.
Like it totally was like a wet blanket on top of the pop they had from him, like coming back and stuff. Like it was a bummer. Like I hope it was just an off week.
So
I read a theory that they didn't want to compete with the other sports playoffs and they're just phoning it in till like the 10 o'clock hour or something.
Yeah, there is a concern that if Rollins runs in and they just start this fight, there is a concern that Rollins will start getting huge and huger pops, and to a CM Punk level of like, it doesn't matter what face, heel, whatever he is.
He's transcending that and just getting a huge reaction.
So he's trying to quell his own he's trying to create his own heat, but in a bad way, and in a way that's not good for TV, and I think it was a bad decision.
It's really unfortunate seeing that the promo he had on the Raw the week before was so excellent. Where he's like looping everyone in and then just pissing them all off in unison at the same time.
Oh, it was brilliant.
So good.
I was like, oh man, the face turn's happening, and then it was just
nope, same old Rollins. Love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a risky thing because there's the same situation with like the New Day. You know, the crowd just made it that you know what, we just like these guys too much.
Yep.
And they're having that same resistance with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
In a way, like everyone, like Kevin gets a huge pop.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of similar with Jericho. Like you can't not like you can hate Jericho. But we all kind of love Jericho.
We don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I am fine with Jericho wrestling until he's 50. He can be the new Undertaker.
So one thing I gotta say about the club,
yes,
before you move on, is, man, Gallows, he just looks like Kevin Nash's bald, like, nephew. Like, he's got that face, and he's always overheating, too.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, not even just in stature, just, like, in the face.
In the face, when it is the Kevin Nash piss face.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it is. No, that totally makes sense.
That's
awesome.
What
we
I
call
never
it now.
even thought about that.
I'm so glad you agree. All right, cool.
Let's talk about the women's.
Yeah,
kind of what's happening with the women. So not the last Raw, but the Raw before.
Oh my God.
Charlotte has the most incredible promo I've ever seen from her, where she basically just shits on her dad and says, "Get out of my life."
Oh my God.
I am so proud of where she has come and where this women's division is going, because 6 months ago I do not believe she could have done that.
Oh my God. So I've been hoping for this moment for so long. And
Ray was right. We have it twice in one episode.
Yeah. I was hoping this would happen, and then it happened, and I was like my girlfriend's like, why is this happening? This shouldn't happen. This is so sad. Like, why is she saying this about her dad? And I'm like,
Because she's a heel.
Because she's the heel, and part of this is true.
Yeah, no, and that's the one thing is that it was totally true. So then on this week's Raw, when they had the recap, they had like backstage interviews with like Dean Ambrose and all these other people, and I think Ambrose was like, well, she's saying things that are kind of true.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
No, like, it is. She was pushed on the main roster as Flair's daughter.
Yeah.
That was never really a big thing in NXT outside of her initial debut.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, it makes me sad on one hand, but also it's absolutely the way she needed to attack it.
That's
and
how
it was
it needed
brilliant.
to go down.
It was well performed.
It was great.
Flair, give props to Flair. I know some of that is acting and some of that is probably real tears.
Yeah. So the fallout of that on this week's Raw, where Stephanie and Charlotte backstage are talking about it, and you immediately think that Stephanie's going to be on board with it because she's a heel, but then you reference the storyline where they're really good friends with Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah.
So they are pissed at Charlotte. And I love that, right?
Yeah.
That it's not an immediate, well, they're both
Attention
heels.
to detail.
Yes. Which made me really upset when she came out in the Second Nature t-shirt. Because it's like, guys, you thought about this, but you didn't think about every aspect of it.
Right.
So
And
they're like almost there. Like,
almost there.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
It should.
Merch is really important, guys.
It goes back to what Kyle was saying before with the whole like she should come in regular dressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if they could channel that into, she's better, right? I mean, she's been saying that. Her promo when they were in Carolina, from like a couple Raws back.
Yeah, this is my country.
Man, and when she had one moment where she said like, "You have got two living legends in the ring, and I'm the better one." And walked in front, like I was like, "Damn!" And even Ric Flair was like, "Damn!" That was kind of rad. She's
getting that point.
Yeah.
She's getting that point.
She is.
And she's gonna get legendary status.
Well, and Sasha was out with a concussion for a bit. She's gonna come back at one point and start feuding and just be white hot.
Yeah.
Against Charlotte's heat, right?
Yeah,
she's gonna be great.
She's been cleared. Like all tests came negative, and she's good. So yeah, we're definitely excited.
I feel like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel if Becky Lynch is the person who is fighting Charlotte.
Right.
Because she's just not as strong to the degree that Charlotte is evil.
No.
Yeah, Becky's kind of like sadly settling into like Dolph Ziggler status.
Oh
yeah, no, that's
damn.
Like it's so sad to say, but
she's gonna
right.
perform great matches. She's always gonna be kind of like a generic face. Like she needs a revamp already, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those when Bayley eventually moves up to the main roster, Becky Lynch is gonna take like a backseat
Even
kind
more.
of a thing.
Even
more
unless she goes heel.
And there are other ones that are like, oh, like I want to see Paige back again.
Because as soon as Bayley comes, like, bring all the heels, make them all heels, because Bayley is gonna run rampant. Bayley is gonna run wild. Bayley mania. Oh my god. So I want to just go back to the beginning of the show. I love that the New Day played the part of like us, the fans.
Yes.
Because like we got hit with this whole. Yeah, we have all these questions like, what's gonna happen with the titles? When are we doing a draft? Like, are they going to split up tag teams again?
Have you guys figured out who's running each? And it was like, damn right, that's the one question I did have. Is Shane McMahon going to SmackDown?
Yeah, who's running what show? Like, all these questions, and like, we don't have answers yet.
This ball is a question. I'm going to throw it at you. You dodged it. You dodged it. You keep dodging the question, Stephanie. It was so good. I love the New Day.
Yeah, the New Day is fantastic.
And they're feuding with the Vaudevillains.
Yes.
Which I'm still pretty happy with.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great match. They're doing great.
Kill some time before Enzo and Cass really get involved in the title picture, which I'm very, very excited
you got the club.
The club.
So the club. I'm kind of cool with calling them the club.
I'm not, but whatever.
All right. So the club interrupts the match, and they are making their stamp. It looks like they're going to feud, maybe get a title shot. Mm-hmm. I'm totally cool with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Does that mean that, mind you, New Day is face. Mm-hmm. They need a heel to take the titles off of them.
Yep.
It's not going to be the Dudleys because the Dudleys are feuding with Enzo and Cass.
I feel like the club could get it, and then Enzo and Cass can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's kind of where I'm seeing things going.
Totally
just because
works.
I don't think the Vaudevillains are ready for the title just yet.
I think they're comfortably lower mid card as far as tag teams go.
But they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job.
They're doing a good job in the position they're in. Let's all be real. They were not going to win the tournament. It was going to be Enzo and Cass, and they've been basically put in the spotlight because Enzo got hurt.
But I think this, in a way, worked out better. It sold Big Cass as just a monster, and also I think it would have been really hard and confusing to have the two face groups that are so over against each other. Like this kind of gave him a pass to have to figure that out.
And also it doesn't mean that won't happen.
No, yeah,
that match will happen, but
Definitely
non-title, and it makes for better TV.
It's just really hard to pull off. Right?
I'm just really happy Enzo's back because I feel like Big Cass, we saw the extent of what he could do by himself.
Yeah.
And it was going to become very, very difficult for him if Enzo did not come back when he did.
He did better than I expected, which is awesome, and
Absolutely
I'm fucking
agree.
so stoked for him.
Yeah.
But still needs that time that he needs to marinate a little bit more.
And they while we're talking about them, let's reorder a little here. They beat them Dudleys clean. So I feel like that's kind of over with. At this point, they've just been beating them up for a few weeks now. So
I think they needed Enzo to come back comfortably, finish out that storyline.
Yep.
Okay, so Enzo's promos keep getting ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
They're in Wisconsin.
Cheese head.
They start mentioning cheese, and it's like,
certified
Gouda,
G on
how
the
you
helmet.
doing?
Yeah.
Brie, how you doing?
Yeah.
Mild cheddar, how you doing?
Yeah.
Sharp cheddar,
Yeah.
medium cheddar. It's like, what? And then from under. And I'm like, oh, gross, but this is amazing.
He is taking a lot of really smart cues from a lot of good faces from out the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
He knows his history.
Yeah, and he's just
Hands down.
he's really good at delivering those promos, and it's just man, I again, in terms of who's the best smack talker, I give it to Enzo all the time, man.
So let's transition from a good smack talker to a bad one.
Oh my
Titus
God.
O'Neil.
So we have
One, he's back.
He's back.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
props.
great.
He's back.
And he's got knee pads.
Yeah.
Also good. But Blowhard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Rusev have a match with Woo Woo Woo, you know it.
Yes.
Zack Ryder.
Zack
My
Ryder.
boy.
And great. Had a match, and then Rusev just calling out he's more American than all these Americans and blah blah blah. And
Much to.
Probably.
and we really expected that it was going to be Cena coming out.
I did. I thought it was.
I thought it was too. And
Hey,
all of a sudden,
But this is the new era.
this is the new.
So Titus O'Neil. Wait a minute.
wait, he's not really new era. Kind of like mid-era. I don't know.
New era means some
NXT,
people
I
who were
mean,
passed over get a chance.
That's true. That's
The
true.
Miz
That's
is
true.
re-entered, and
Yeah, okay.
people
I
Shane
get-
likes maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but Titus comes out, and okay, cool, Titus O'Neil, great. This is maybe will be a good match. I don't know. And what is going on with that
Snooze
promo?
fest.
God, literally, you build it up, and it's and you're a blowhard, and just crickets.
Beanstalks.
Yeah.
Tater tots.
Tater tots.
It's just the word choice is just bad.
And it's just, again, I get we're in the I get that we are a PG show.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's great.
There are better insults you can come up with.
Yeah.
If Enzo and Cass can be having the promos that they are in the PG era, there is no excuse. Well, I mean, I'm sure Enzo has quite a bit of say in all the stuff that goes into his promo,
Yeah.
right? But there's so much more you can do than blow
Yeah.
hard.
You stupid idiot!
Yeah.
Yeah, anything Jericho says in the ring.
And he doesn't curse!
No, he just calls people, you stupid idiot!
You moron!
Shut up, you idiot!
Yeah, just
That's great.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
He just
very
says
powerful.
the same thing over and over again in that mousy, angry voice.
Lots of conviction.
Ah!
Yeah.
It's great.
So, yeah.
Speaking of Jericho,
Oh, yeah.
so the 6-man tag.
Can we
Owens
talk about
Jericho.
the promos before we go into the match?
All right, sure.
Oh man, so the promos into the match, one you had the heels who were you
You
had
gotta be
Jericho.
careful, that guy, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, no, that was the faces. That was
Right.
that was Ambrose being like, yeah, don't trust those guys. These are Canadians. And he's like, dude, I'm Canadian. And he's like, oh, that explains a lot.
That explains a lot. And I'm like, wait, what does that mean?
So Ambrose being very blatant racist, and it was hilarious. And then Jericho, Owens, and Del Rio discussing how much they don't like each other.
Yes.
And Owens is like, I thought we were cool. Like, I thought we had an understanding. And yeah, no, I was just. It was
I like that was French. Kevin Owens. Yeah,
I know.
Just like little things thrown in here and there. It was so great.
good.
Is Del Rio's like popping his pecs the whole time? Just kind of like as the camera just kind of goes out of frame, you just see pop, pop, pop. And I'm like, oh my god, this is disgusting and amazing, and I love it. Like everything about this. Those three guys played off of each other so well.
Yeah, you watch it. I watch what? You watch it. Okay, I'll watch it.
All right. I got it.
So the match was fantastic.
As
that was the
always.
best. I'm glad they ended it with that match.
I have learned at this point that if you include Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens in anything, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with that match and just, they've been grouping up these great wrestlers in matches for a while now, right? Like
Yes.
the last storyline, the last pay-per-view through this one. It's awesome, but it's also like it couldn't last longer really than this, but we've got the brand split anyway, so it's good. Like
Yes.
I'd worry if this brand split wasn't happening, I'd be worried what are we going to do with all these guys, right? Because it felt a lot like towards the end of last summer where Cesaro was getting his chance finally, and then it was just like he disappeared. You know?
He got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Shitty.
there's
And
only
now
one
he's got a
person.
sweet Superman tape.
Yeah, but only one person is going to win
Yes.
this match coming up.
Yep.
And that's kind of sad because they're all pretty great, right?
Yeah,
like,
they are.
The only one you'd be like, he's been this before is Del Rio.
Right.
But even then, he's been out of the serious mode picture for a long time. That it
And
wouldn't
he
be the
could
worst thing in the
play
world.
when he gives a shit. He could play a really great heel.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he just needs to be given a good role. Like we've seen Del Rio be awesome. Like when
Yeah.
it's like, my name is Alberto Del Rio, but you already knew that. Like way back in the day, like personal ring
when he
announcer
really gives
with
a shit,
fancy
he's
cars.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. You just have to give him a role where he actually gives a shit. I think it'd be interesting to see if Jericho won it because they keep, and I think Ray, you had mentioned this earlier. We were talking about it at lunch, but they keep mentioning that Jericho is the guy that invented Money in the Bank, and hasn't actually won it.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's the one thing where they just keep bringing it up, and I don't know if it's just more of a red herring.
It might be. They're getting pretty good about that too. They start making you kind of think like this could go in any direction.
I look at the list, and really, to me, I don't know. Ambrose and Owens would be the most interesting.
Yeah.
To me,
I think of all
Jericho
the ones,
and Del Rio could handle it. Zayn and Cesaro would be surprising, but I wouldn't be against it. It'd just be surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I don't know.
I don't think they're ready to accept those two yet.
I feel like Ambrose makes the most sense storyline because you've got Rollins and Reigns feuding right now.
Yeah, and also Ambrose, he's lunatic fringe, he's crazy, and also on top of all that, like he's been knocking on a door for like a year.
Yeah, he
like
has.
he's been either in the best match or second best match of like every pay-per-view for like the last
Putting
year.
his body on the line.
Yeah, and like
Thumbtacks.
they teased us with him winning it for like 5 seconds
Oh,
last
that's
year.
right. Oh my god.
At Money in the Bank, and then it was the disqualification thing that him and Rollins in that great match, and we know someday we're gonna get that Shield match.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be pretty rad if it were for all the
Amazing.
marbles.
Yeah.
So something I completely missed, and then Ray and Kyle pointed it out before we started recording the show, but there will be a 7th man in the Money in the Bank tournament.
Correct.
The Big Show.
Nope.
I'm gonna say Randy Orton.
Ha! Damn it! that was my prediction.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
the
like-
voices will tell him when to cash in. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, well, so Randy Orton has been injured for a while, and
He's been out indefinitely.
and he's been due for I mean, like
that's a
he's
good
supposed
call.
to
I think that fits the mold, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
who's
always
the
find it
7th
really
man? You
funny
hit the music?
because anytime they have one of those marquee pictures where they have the outlines of people, it just always looks like Randy Orton. I think he's like the most generic outline-looking person.
it's pretty
So
good.
that's the first thing that pops in my head anytime I see that. I was like, oh, it's Randy Orton.
All right,
Because they
let's-
clearly just traced him.
I think that's a really good one. Let's maybe think of a dark horse one.
John Cena.
He's going to be in a match with AJ probably, right?
Yeah.
okay.
Here's my dark horse one. This is just to contribute to the match. Oh no, I don't think it'll work.
Xavier Woods.
Ooh, no, I got mine. My dark horse is gonna be Finn Balor.
Oh,
That'd be pretty rad.
That'd be crazy.
Not Demon though.
I
Not Demon.
can't
I
be
forgot
Demon.
about
He
the
wouldn't win.
Demon always wins.
I forgot about the extent of the injury, so I could be totally wrong, but it feels like Neville could help the match be good.
Oh fucking.
I just don't think he'd
when is
win.
he supposed to be better?
So I think, but his the other ones you guys mentioned are like a much better pop. Like,
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Oh, big
That'd
time.
be like Royal Rumble-esque. So.
Basically, this match could go in any direction, and they could add a 7th person, and it's going to be the best match of the show.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's took the words from my mouth. Like, I don't think any other match could top this match.
No, it's like I'm thinking about like Cena versus AJ. That'll be good, great. Haven't seen Cena wrestle in a while, so it'll be a little bit refreshing.
Cena AJ, actually, if we get PPV Cena,
Yes.
that one could be epic.
If we get the Cena we saw during the Open Challenge for
he
the
puts
U.S.
on
title.
Great matches. I really like the guy. Just
Everyone talks about the 5 moves of doom, but every famous wrestler has their 5 moves of doom.
Yep.
It's like, shut the fuck up,
And
okay?
the current guy only has 3.
Yeah,
so.
so there you go. Well, nobody likes him, so that's not really a good comparison.
Yeah. I just, like I'm fine with his 5 moves of doom as long as I hate that 5 knuckle shuffle, but that's it. That's all.
But it's so threatening.
Because he waves his hand.
You can't see him. Who knows where he's coming from?
The ropes.
If he literally went like Ninja Vanish and then threw the punch, I'd be cool with that. But,
All right.
All right.
So that's going to wrap it up for this week. If you like the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at OnTheHeelsWP and on Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. We're also on iTunes, where you can download past episodes and subscribe to future episodes.
So hit that Superman punch on the subscribe button.
Aw.
Tater tots.
Leave a comment on the iTunes store. And give us a 5-star rating so more people can find us. And tell your wrestling buddies about us so that they can find the podcast and comment, tweet, and do all the cool social media things.
Interact.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Tune in to our next episode where we're going to have our first ever roundtable brand split fantasy draft.
Fantasy draft.
Oh, shit.
And
Who are
then
your keepers?
And then after all of those questions, we'll ask ourselves the eternal question.
Is it better to be the man or the guy?
Oh, God. I kind of feel like the man. I feel like the guy is just like, it's some guy.
Sometimes also, but sometimes he's the architect.
Yeah.
That's true. I feel like the man is more of a, like, he knows exactly who he is, whereas the guy could be like some bro in an alley going after
Yeah. I feel like
Hey, the guy didn't have a statue either.
On the heels